Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for the Festival of Cinema NYC virtual filmmaker interviews. I am Stephen S. Miller, Cabaret Star, and I'm being joined by my fabulous co-host, Bonnie Rose, star of film and television. Today, we are being joined by Joshua Michael Payne, director of the film Doesn't Fall Far, which will be playing on Thursday, October 1st at 7 p.m. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. You guys look great.
Thank you, Joshua. Well, we're excited that you're doing this interview with us. What, since you wrote it,
Yes.
and you also directed it,
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the film.
Sure. So it's a short film. It's called Doesn't Fall Far. It stars Eric Roberts, who has been in the industry for a long time. And the gist of it is that it's a family film about a father and a son who are both secretly in the closet, and sort of that secret comes about all at once on one fateful night, and how they deal with it will sort of define their relationship moving forward.
There were a lot of twists and turns with this particular film. What gave you the inspiration to do that? And especially, what gave you the inspiration now, which is such a heightened time that we live in?
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, in real life, my dad came out to my family as gay when I was a senior in high school. And as you might imagine, that's a huge moment in anyone's life. And so it certainly didn't play out anything like it plays out in my film. My film is sort of a heightened version of that. But it was kind of pulling on my own experiences of like, what does this mean for him? What does this mean for us? How do we move forward as a family? And so I think that was something that I always wanted to try and express somehow on film. And, you know, I finally had done a couple short films before this, and it felt like this was the time, and pieces sort of just started falling into place, and it worked out. And luckily we were able to film in December, right before the pandemic hit. So we were able to do all the post-production stuff, you know, isolated from each other after production had finished.
And I noticed that in the film, not to give anything away, but you used, obviously, since you shot it in December, you used the Christmas theme, which worked out so well. How long did it take you to shoot?
So we were on set for 4 days. So it wasn't super long. We were lucky to have a couple longer scenes and not that many locations. We had about 3 core locations we were working with. So yeah, we just shot them consecutively on those days, got our crew together. We shot in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is actually where I'm from. So I had some connections there to help with locations, and yeah.
How did the cast come about?
Yes. So we did a lot of auditioning. I'm a big acting writing person. Like, my background is in acting and writing. So for me, getting the cast right is so important. The actor who plays Garrett, who's the son, we auditioned, I think, something like 200 people for the role, and he just immediately stood out to me. He was so genuine and great. And the father, on the other hand, was a totally different process. Like, we actually had cast a different actor in the role, and he had to back out due to availability reasons. And then how it worked out was we were very close to shooting by the time we needed to refill this role. And Eric Roberts, who Oscar-nominated actor, very well-renowned in the industry, his agent, I guess, had read the script because a different one of his clients had auditioned for the part of Carson, who plays the father. And he had enjoyed the script, and he got in contact with me to see about the potential of maybe having Eric be in this film. And once the ball was rolling, I couldn't have been more excited to even at the idea of him being in the project, because, you know, I'd seen him in a bunch of things growing up, huge fan of The Dark Knight and Inherent Vice and films like that, and got in touch with his agent. He sent the script to Eric, who really enjoyed it, and from there we were off.
I love the backstory. I always love the backstory of the twists and turns of how a film gets made. And how did you go about getting funding for this particular project?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, this was all me. I just saved up. I have done a bunch of short films before this, and I co-own a production company with my good friend. His name is Elisha Lawson. he wasn't available for this project. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take this one on by myself. And what's really nice is with our production company, we're sometimes hired to produce other people's projects. And so we take the money we make from those and just immediately turn it right back into our own projects. So it's basically making money by making films in order to make more films. So that's kind of how we've been working so far. And we hope to be able to use the momentum maybe from this and other festivals to be able to start working towards getting funding towards doing a first feature, which is something I really want to get started. Yes.
That would be absolutely wonderful. And how excited are you to see this film up on the big screen, and I mean really the big screen, at a drive-in in Queens?
I am thrilled. Like, I have to say, I was so impressed with Festival of Cinema. I was a part of it last year with my short film called Over the Threshold, and I had such a great time. So I was like, of course I'm going to submit again. But then, all this pandemic stuff happened. And every festival is kind of reacting and responding differently, and you can't blame them for any decisions they make. This is totally crazy, totally unprecedented times. But when I heard Festival of Cinema, first of all, I knew that they were working so hard to try and make, in one way or another, the festival happen in person this year, which was super impressive to me. But then when I found out, not only were they going to be able to do it, but they were going to be able to do it on this enormous, impressive outdoor drive-in screen, I was floored. I mean, I was already impressed with them, but to know how much, work that probably took in order to get that in place and in order to set that up so that they could still have their festival this year and still be able to show off their filmmakers, even in this crazy pandemic year, I was thrilled, and I'm so excited to be there in early October.
Well, we're excited to have you, and thank you for being with us here today. Stephen, back to you.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for joining us today. And it is very exciting to see this film up on the big screen. And I know that you're excited, and we are just as excited to see it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you.
And I also want to thank my fabulous co-host, Bonnie Rose, for joining us today. And until next time, have a great day.
See you at the drive-in.